Hello, beautiful. I hope that you are doing amazing today. We are going to talk about masculine energy, how to identify when a man is in his healthy masculine energy, what wounded masculine energy looks like, how masculine energy impacts your relationships, and how you may be blocking his masculine energy. My name is Chanel Diane. I am a feminine empowerment coach. I live for empowering women to be in their feminine energy, to level up their lives, transform their love relationships, and truly step into their confident best self. Let's get right into it. 5 qualities that will let you know if a man is in his masculine energy is him being confident, him having emotional intelligence, him having integrity, him being purpose driven, him being protective and not possessive. Confidence is often mistaken as arrogance. In all actuality, confidence is someone's belief in themselves. But this belief is not something that is flaunted. It's not something that causes someone to look down on others. That is arrogance. That is really fake confidence. But a man that is confident in himself, he carries himself like he knows he can accomplish his goals and he's sure of who he is. He doesn't feel the need to prove this to anyone. That is how you know a man is confident and not arrogant. A man that walks in integrity, his actions match his words. So if he tells you that he's going to do something, he's going to do it. He's going to follow through majority of the time. And you know that you can trust him when he walks in integrity, when his words match his actions, when what he says he's doing, he's actually doing. So you don't have to wonder if he's saying, "Oh, I'm at my friend's house," but you're really wondering if he's hanging out with a girl. A man that follows through, keeps his word, lets you know that you can trust him because he has integrity. This is a sign that he walks in integrity. So when he says he's at his friend's house, you believe him because you've had a history of him being in integrity. Now, his integrity is also a sign of his emotional intelligence, but not by itself. You need it coupled with a couple other actions. So, emotional intelligence is one's ability to know how they feel, know what they need, and empathize with the feelings of others. Empathizing with the feelings of others. So, a man that hurts when you're hurting, that doesn't want to hurt you, that is genuinely impacted by how you feel and is able to say how he feels, that man is an emotionally intelligent man. How does that align with integrity? Well, a man that's walking in integrity, he doesn't want to hurt you. He's very aware of the impact that his actions have on you. So his actions are going to be considerate of you, mindful of how you feel and what he does and what how it makes you feel. And so this is how integrity and emotional intelligence, they're both needed. Having one without the other, I would argue if you really could have one without the other. So thinking about his actions and how it impacts you, his awareness of that, he also needs to be purpose driven. You know that a man can take care of you based off of how he's taking care of himself. If he doesn't have any goals, any drive, any ambition, then he's not going to be driven in your relationship. He's not going to be driven when it comes to you and how to look after you, how to take care of you, how to consider a future with you. A man that is purpose driven does not need you to lead and guide his purpose in life. He already knows where he's going. He already knows what he wants to accomplish. And he should be able to communicate those goals to you. That is how you know that a man is purpose driven and in his masculine energy. So if he is working a job, a dead end job, barely able to pay his bills, my love, and you find that you have to tell him to apply for new jobs, or you have to push him to go to school to want to make more money, then that man is not in his masculine energy, because a man in his masculine energy is going to want to do those things for himself. So, how he treats himself is a reflection of his self love. And if he has self love, then he can love you. So, he has to be purpose driven. He has to have a vision for his future and he needs to actually take steps to meet that vision. That is how you know a man is in his healthy masculine energy. Another vital sign is that he is protective, protective over you, protective over himself, but not possessive. It is possible to want to protect someone, to want to look after them, but to still trust and appreciate their autonomy, not trying to be a dictator and saying, no, you can't have any friends. No, you can't go here or there, trying to have a watchful eye. And, I've even heard of people being watched on cameras and just feeling dominated and controlled in the name of protection. That's not protection. That's being possessive. Saying things like, you have to do what I say. You have to go where I say go. You have to wear what I say wear, under the name of protection, because I don't want anyone to hurt you. I know what's best for you. That's not true protection. True protection makes you feel safe. And are you going to always want to hear everything that he says? If your skirt is a little short and he's like, babe, I think the skirt's a little short. You may not want to hear that at that moment, but his delivery lets you know if he's just trying to protect you and your relationship, or if he's trying to control you. So, going with the example of the short skirt, if he says, babe, you look good in the skirt. I do think it's a little short. Do you mind changing? That's protection. But if he shames you for the short skirt, if he starts calling you names and, oh, you're trying to get the attention of all these other men and this, that, and the third, that's not protection. That is possession. A man in his healthy masculine energy wants to protect his lady and his relationship. So now that we've talked about what a healthy masculine man looks like, let's discuss what someone in their wounded masculine energy looks like. Man in his wounded masculine energy is controlling. He tries to dictate where you go, how you look, who you're around, the decisions that you make, and he almost he almost gets upset if you don't do what he suggests. So, I want to be clear. I'm not saying that if he tells you, babe, I really don't think it's safe for you to go out with your friends at 3 in the morning, that he's trying to be controlling. And if he becomes visibly impacted or, bothered by that, that means that he is being controlling. I'm saying, if you were to tell him, oh my God, I'm so excited about this new job. And he's like, well, I don't think that job is a good fit for you. I wanted you to do X, Y, and Z. And he's upset by some of your autonomy, then that is a sign that he is being controlling and trying to guilt you into doing the things that he wants you to do, as opposed to you being able to decide what your own happiness is. This is a sign of a man that is in his wounded masculine energy. You will know that a man is controlling when he has to make all of the decisions and it's his way or the highway. He wants to decide where you eat every single time. He wants to decide what you all do every single time, who you're around. Like the focus is on him, his needs, what he wants. And if you are not in alignment every single time, then he's upset, he guilts you, he manipulates you. These are signs that he is controlling and in his wounded masculine energy. And that is not going to make you feel safe and not going to encourage you to be in your feminine energy where you can flow and feel secure and feel protected. Another sign that a man is in his wounded masculine energy is him emotionally shutting down. He's not able to communicate his feelings at all. He ices you out. He withholds his emotions from you. You feel like a coldness from him. You feel like he's distant from you. You know, we are all energy beings. So even if someone is not saying something, we can feel someone's spirit. We can feel the energy or the vibe, as you might say. And so if you're getting a vibe where he's distanced and he's cold and you can't really tell how he feels about you, and you're walking on eggshells with him and you're trying to monitor his mood before you approach him, and this is happening on a consistent basis, then this is a sign that he is in his wounded masculine energy. A man that's in his healthy masculine energy is aware of how he feels, and he's mindful of how he's making you feel. He cares. He wants you to feel loved. Even when he's upset, he's still trying to show up for you emotionally. I remember there was this guy that I was interested in, and our relationship was like a telenovela, okay? Like it was like, what happened today in the series? What episode are we on today? But one thing that I did appreciate about him was his level of emotional intelligence and his ability to not invalidate my feelings and my needs emotionally. I remember this one time we were walking from one building to the next, and I'm upset. I'm not being disrespectful, but I am surely expressing my displeasure. Well, once we would get up to the door of the building, I would still stop. I would wait for him to buzz us in and then come open the door. And then I'd walk through the door. And then I would continue with whatever I had to say. And this happened like a couple times because we were walking for, a few minutes, just doing different things. And I appreciated it because he was still able to show up for me emotionally and not mistreat me and not ice me out because he didn't like what he was hearing. So, if you're in a relationship where if you do something that the other person doesn't like, and now you're not sure if he's going to still show up for you and still be there for you and still make you feel loved and safe, then that man is in his wounded masculine energy. And you are not going to be able to be fully in your feminine energy. You're not going to feel safe and protected to. So he has to be in his healthy masculine energy in order for you to fully show up in your feminine energy. And another sign that a man is in his wounded feminine energy is him constantly seeking validation from other people because he doesn't feel the validation in himself. What does this look like? Every time there's a beautiful woman around, your man is flirting with her. And I'm not talking about having conversation. I'm talking about flirting, you know, where it's very visible that he's attracted to her and almost like he's trying to get her to show her attraction to him. That is an example of a man seeking external validation. Or every time he does something, he has to get the praise of other people. The opinions of others matter more than his opinion of himself. So if someone doesn't like him or like something that he's done, he's like almost like a chameleon. He wants to blend in and be liked so much that he's willing to do whatever it would take to win their approval. He's not willing to stand alone and be his own man in a sense if it's going to turn them off of him. This is how you know that a man is in his wounded masculine energy. He's arrogant. He has to have the attention on him. He can't share it. He's constantly competing with other men and women. Yes, yes, wounded masculine men compete with women as well. And he's codependent. He desperately needs someone to make him feel valuable. So he also doesn't want you to go out with your friends because he just wants you all to himself. See, these traits, they go hand in hand and they can manifest in different ways. So he's controlling because he depends on you. Or if you're mad at him, his whole identity is shaken. These are signs that he is in his wounded masculine energy and he's not confident in himself. He does not have the self validation that is needed to have a healthy relationship. And so, this is how it ends up becoming an anxious attachment and an avoidant attachment relationship style, or the distancer and the pursuer, and those unhealthy buzzwords that we typically hear. This is what leads to that: a man being in his wounded masculine energy, not being confident in himself, not being healed, unsure of who he is, and seeking that validation from you and other people. He needs to know who he is. He needs to have conviction. And he needs to be able to set healthy boundaries with you. If he's a pushover, if he allows you to just run all over him and without saying no ever, then he's still in his masculine wounded energy. He's codependent because your approval, your perception of him weighs so much more heavily than how he feels and what he needs and his perception of himself. So these are the signs that a man is in his wounded masculine energy. And it is going to hurt your feminine energy. It is going to cause you to feel the need to show up more in your masculine energy. And it really disrupts the polarity, the balance that you both more than likely are craving in your relationship. So, how does him being in his masculine energy impact your overall relationship? Well, first and foremost, it helps you be in your feminine energy. It helps you feel free and flow and be creative and just feel like your ultra feminine self. So picture a little girl outside with her dad. She's just twirling and she's a princess. She's having fun. She's carefree. She doesn't have a worry because she knows that her dad is looking out for her. Her dad is protecting her and he is making sure she's safe. This is what it looks like to be in our feminine energy, in our flow. Have you ever been around a man and you start to feel like a little girl all over again? I surely have, and I'm just a giggling and having fun, and it's just so lighthearted and playful because he's in his masculine energy and I know he's looking out for me. I know he's protecting me. I'm not really aware of my surroundings as much because I know I'm safe with him. And me knowing that I'm safe with him helps me trust him. And the more I trust him, the more that he's able to be in his masculine energy and trust me because I'm making him feel safe and I'm making him feel seen and empowered to show up. So, this is how him being in his masculine energy impacts the relationship and helps you show up in your feminine energy. Another way that it benefits the relationship overall is it creates emotional safety. When a man is in his masculine energy and he's able to identify what he needs and what you need, then you feel safe emotionally to be vulnerable, to be expressive, to tell him what you need, and to in turn create a safe space for him to do the same. So the polarity and the balance continues. And overall, you both have an emotional safety within your relationship. It also creates trust and safety. It helps you not feel the need to control so much because you know that he's also going to rise to the occasion and make sure you're okay. So if you trust him and he trusts you, then it helps your relationship overall have a lot of trust. Men want to know that a woman can trust him. They want to feel like the hero. They want to be able to show up for you. So when we allow them to do that, then it really inspires their masculine energy and it really motivates them to show up as that. Now, if you're with a man who, you try to sit back and you try to let him run the show in a safe, respectful way, like you just trust his lead, and he still doesn't want to rise to the occasion or he guilts you for not doing more, then he's in his wounded masculine energy. But if he embraces that role and he runs with it and he almost shows you appreciation for allowing him to function in that way, then you know he's in his healthy masculine energy, and overall you're going to both trust each other, and that is vitally important in a healthy relationship. You need to be able to trust each other. And the last thing that it does for you, my dear, is it reduces your stress and you're feeling overwhelmed. If a man is in your life and he's causing you more stress, you can't depend on him for anything. And you feel like you have to do everything on your own. He is in his wounded masculine energy. But when you know that he can carry the burden with you and sometimes carry the burden for you, then it reduces your stress and it takes away you feeling overwhelmed. The less overwhelmed we feel, the less we desire to control. So, him being in his masculine energy is just as important as you being in your feminine energy. You need both. And yes, there are some things that we do that can inhibit his masculine energy, but he also has to be a confident man that can naturally show up in his masculine energy, whether or not you are in your feminine energy. And he also needs to be able to set boundaries with you to protect his masculine energy. So the next time you are considering jumping into a new relationship, or if you are evaluating your current relationship, ask yourself this question: is he in his healthy masculine energy? Do I notice these qualities in him? How is it making me feel overall? Him being in his healthy masculine energy directly impacts your ability to be in your feminine energy and to overall feel safe in the relationship. It's vitally important. So I encourage you to not settle for not being in your feminine energy and to require someone to rise to the occasion. You are worth it. He is worth it. And it just improves your relationship overall. I hope that you find this useful and that it blesses your soul. Share this with a friend that you know needs it and rewatch it as often as possible so that you can safely identify a man in his healthy masculine energy. If you like this video and you want to see more content on the feminine energy, how it impacts your relationship, your life, and what masculine energy looks like, and how we need all of it to have a healthy, fulfilling life, and subscribe. Have an amazing day. I'll talk to you soon. Bye, beautiful.